Hi, and welcome to this section of the pre-algebra tutor. And in this section, we're going to sort of continue where we began in the last section, where we talked about different kinds of numbers. And we're going to talk in some detail about what we call the number line. We actually introduced it in the last section, and kind of gave you an idea of what it is. But here, we're going to really go into it in some more detail so you really feel comfortable looking at it. It's not hard at all. And it's actually a little fun when you get into it. Now, let me give you a little motivation. The reason we care about the number line is because this course is really the first time most of you have really been exposed to the negative number. And I already gave you my take on the negative number. It's basically when you don't have that many of something, you actually owe that to somebody else. It's a deficit, So if your budget is negative, if the money you make in a month versus the money you spend in a month is negative, it means you're actually spending more money than you actually make. It's not a good situation. If you have -3 pencils, then I don't actually have that many pencils. I actually owe somebody else that many pencils. So that's what that really is. But the number line is good because it lets you represent those positive and negative numbers graphically, which really helps a lot of people visualize what they are. So let's get right to it. This is going to be the number line. In every course in algebra, pre-algebra, always covers this because it's really important. And the good news is it's really easy. So don't worry too much about it. We can represent numbers on a number line, and we've already sort of drawn one. Let's draw another one. We're going to go ahead and draw an arrow at one end and try to draw a line as straight as I can, which I know is not perfectly straight. And basically in the center of this number line, you put the number 0. And the bottom line is, all of the numbers that go to the right are the positive numbers that we've always been dealing with all our life. 5 jelly beans, 3 jelly beans, 10 jelly beans, whatever, over here. And then everything to the left is sort of what's new in this class, the negative numbers. They're not so mystical, it just means you don't really have those. You owe those to someone else. They're deficits that you don't really own them, you owe them to somebody else. And they go off this way. So -1, -2 jelly beans, -3 jelly beans, off in this direction. So the way you write your number line is you put little tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you can write your number line to have as many numbers as you want, because this little arrow here means it goes on to infinity. So the number line really goes in both directions forever and ever and ever. It contains every number that you could possibly think of, right? And to the left is the negative numbers. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. So you see 0 is sort of like ground zero here in the middle, and then going out both directions, the numbers get larger and larger. It's just that these are negative and these are positive. Okay? So if we wanted, so this is just a general number line. I'm just sort of showing you what one is, uncluttered. If I wanted to plot the number 3 on the number line, it would be very easy. If your test said plot the number 3 on a number line, that would be easy. You would draw a number line. You have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course you have your negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, -4. Plot the number 3 is very simple. You just find the number 3 and you put a dot there. That is the number on the number line. That's it. Then you're plotting numbers. That's all you're doing. So we're just going to do a few of these just to kind of drill it home. So let's plot 0 on the number line. So it's the same kind of deal. Draw a number line. 0, 1, 2, 3, and on and on and on. -1, -2, -3, on and on. And 0 is right there in the middle. Let's plot the number -1. I think you might see where we're going here. I'm just giving you some practice. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3, goes on and on forever. And the point -1 is right where you think it is, right here. Okay? And then finally, what if we're going to do, just to give you one more example here, what if we're going to plot -4 on the number line? Then we would have like this. 0 is always in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4 goes on and on forever. -1, -2, -3, -4 goes on and on forever. And of course, -4 is the one way over here. So you see it's really a graphical way of sort of plotting it, because you can see by looking at it that the negative numbers are more to the left and the positive numbers are more to the right. Now what if we had something like where we wanted to plot -1.5, -1.5, which is something you'll probably be asked to do. So it's the same kind of thing. You first always draw your number line. 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. Now where is -1.5? Here's the number -1. Here's the number -2. -1.5 is somewhere in the middle there. So the way you would write that is a dot right on the number line, right in the middle of -1 and -2. You know it's right in the middle there. So you put it between the tick marks. So you see the number line, you're labeling all the integers, really. See, I told you we'd use that word all the time. We're labeling the integers on the number line. But you can plot any number on the number line, in between even the integer points. You can totally do that. And what if we were going to do just one final one? What if we were going to plot 2.5? And the way we would do that is draw our number line. 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. And then 2.5 is somewhere between 2 and 3. So that would be right in the middle there. And of course, if it was 2.1, it would be closer to 2. If it were 2.9, it'd be really close to the number 3. So you can plot any point that you want there. Now let's do a little different kind of problem just to get some practice with the number line. Let's write something down. What point is a distance? That's what dist means, is a distance of 2 units to the right of the point A. And I haven't even drawn the point A yet, so don't worry too much about it. What I'm going to provide to you is a number line, right? So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3. Now the point A, I'm going to say, is right here at the number 1. That's the point A. So the question is, what point is a distance of 2 units to the right of A? The way you do this is you start at the point A and you count 2 units to the right, just like you would think. So you have, starting at A, 1 point, 2 points. So the point that we're interested in is the number 3. And that should be the answer to the problem. So if you're given a problem and it says, plot, what point is a distance 2 units to the right of point A, you count over from your starting point however many units you have, and where you land is your number. So you see a number line really is sort of a graphical way of adding and subtracting, really. If you had the time, then any problem with adding and subtracting negative and positive numbers, you could put them on a number line. You could stick one number on and you could count left and right and always get the answer. But you'll find when we start getting into adding and subtracting negative and positive numbers that you're just not going to have time to do that. So you need to get in your head, you're going to have to figure out how to do that addition and subtraction without a number line, which, by the way, is not hard. I'm going to break it down really simply for you. But here is just a graphical way of showing you this is addition. Basically, it's 1 plus 2. 2 units to the right equals 3. Now, let's do another one. What point is a distance? So I'm going to have sort of a distance of 4 units to the right of A. And in this problem, I'm going to put A in exactly the same place, so I'm just going to redraw everything to make it clear. There's nothing worse than having a cluttered diagram, so I would rather just draw it again. And of course, you have your negative numbers. Okay, now A is in exactly the same place as before. So the question is, what point is a distance of 4 units to the right of A? So we start at A and we count 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. The answer is 5. Right? Just like you would guess. So you basically start with your point and you count up from there. So this is sort of a graphical way of just doing addition. Now let's do one more. This one is sort of going to be more like what you would think of when you think of subtraction. So what point is a distance of 3 units to the left of B? And I haven't drawn it, so let's draw it. Let's say we had a number line given to you on a test. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. And let's say that our point B is going to be located right here. So the question is, a distance of 3 units to the left of B. So the way you do that is just like you would think. You start at B and you count 3 units, but instead of going to the right, you go to the left. 1, 2, 3. So you landed on negative 1. So a distance of 3 units to the left is going to land you on negative 1. So these here where you're moving to the right is kind of like addition, right? And then these here where you're moving to the left is kind of like subtraction. You're taking away, you're going lower, right? And as you go lower and lower and lower, you're going to see that these negative numbers are getting, these negative numbers are smaller way over here because it's negative 10, negative 20. I owe you negative 10 cars, negative 20 cars. I owe you 50 cars way over here. So everything over here is smaller and everything over here is bigger. So this is sort of like when you're going this way to the left is like subtraction and going to the right is like addition. In fact, it's not just like it is addition and subtraction. Okay, now let's do another one. We want a point 5 units to the left of B. 5 units to the left of B, and let's figure out where we're going to put B this time, just to kind of give you some practice. We're going to stick it in exactly the same place. 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. And B is going to be the same place as it was before. Just our initial starting point, the problem. So if you were told 5 units to the left of B, how would you do that? Well, to the left means you go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you landed on negative 3. So the answer is negative 3. And that's where you would land. All right, now let's do one more. This one's a little bit, it's not harder. It's just, a little different. We want a point that is 3 units to the left of the point C that I'm going to put here on the number line for you. All right, and let's say 0's here, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. Now C, let's say, don't forget these, 1, 2, 3, on and on forever. Now let's say point C is located right here in negative 1. So the question is, what point is 3 units to the left of the point that we've labeled here? So you start at the point you have and you go 3 units. 1, 2, 3. And you've landed on negative 4. So that's the answer. So, these aren't really problems that you're going to, solve, world hunger with. I mean, they're not problems that you're going to really design the next spacecraft using. But it's building that foundation because you need to be able to graphically in your head understand, okay, the positive numbers are going one way, the negative numbers are going the other way. And when I'm adding and subtracting, really all I'm doing is I'm sliding up and down this number line left and right. because that is what you're doing. And then as we get more practice in the future sections with doing it, you're going to actually dispense with the number line. You're going to keep it just so you understand the concept, but you're not going to be doing your adding and subtracting on a number line. I mean, that would just take all day. Let's do one more type of problem, just to give you a little more practice. Let me draw first a very long number line. So I'm going to start way over here, and I'm going to go all the way across, straight as I can, which I know is not very straight. And this is 0. And let's go ahead and write them in black. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And over here I'm going to have -1, -2, -3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And to make it clear, I'm going to label it like this: -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. The only reason I wrote it like that is just because if you write them all together, it kind of gets cluttered. But it's the same thing that we've done before. So let's label some points here. Let's say A is at -7. So I'm going to put A right there. Let's say B is at -3. Right there. Let's say C is at 0. Let's say D is at 3. Let's say E is at 7. And let's say F is at 10. All right, so we have these points. I mean, there's nothing significant about them other than I just put them there as a label. So what I want to know is, I'm going to ask a few questions. And the first one is going to be, what is the distance between D and E? The points D and E, the distance between the points D and E. So anytime you're given that, you need to locate the points, obviously. D is here and E is here. And the distance between them basically is what you're looking at is you're only counting the number of points that separate those two, the number of units, I should say, between those 2 points. That is the distance between them. So the distance between D and E is here, and so the easiest way to do it is just to start here and count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, distance of 4. Okay? Now, the next one, what is the distance between C and F? The distance between C and F. C is here and F is here. So the only way you're going to get that is by counting the distance between them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can guess it's 10 because of the way the number line's labeled there, but that one's easy because 0 and 10, you know it's 10 units away, but it's not so easy to do whenever they're not lined up like that. Okay, the next one, let's look at the distance between D and F. D and F. So D is here and F is here. So we start with one of them and we count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the distance between is 7. And let's look at the next one, which is the distance between A and B. So A is here and B is here. Now these are negative numbers, but that has nothing to do with it, because you're only looking at the distance between them, which is done by counting. So you start with A and you count to B. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get a 4, a positive 4. Now that's really important for you to make sure you understand. It's not -4. I mean, these numbers are negative, true, but the actual distance between them, the actual number of steps I would have to take to walk between them is always a positive number, right? All right, so we have the next one. Let's do A and C. A and C. A is here, C is here, so we start at A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 units. Again, it's always positive when you're talking about distance between 2 points. Next one, let's do A and D. Start with A, counting to D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 units. And one final problem, E, F, G, B, and F. Let's look between B and F. So we start with B, we're going all the way to F, starting with B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 13 units away. You know, this is mainly just an exercise in getting you familiar with the number line more than anything else. Like I said, doing these problems on the number line doesn't really do much other than it gets you familiar with the concept of negative numbers. Notice the distance between these numbers, even if they were negative, always gives a positive number here because, you know, it's like if I'm, you know, in the street. In the middle of the street is what I'm calling 0. And this side of the street is positive numbers, and this side of the street, let's call them negative because it's the other side. Well, if I have a measuring tape measuring the length of the street, it's not going to matter, you know, how I've labeled negative and positive. It's the absolute value, the total value of one point to the other if I were to take a tape measure out, which is kind of what you're doing here, and counting the number of units that you have over. So that's it for this section. We've introduced the number line. We've shown you what it is. We've shown you how to plot points on the number line, which is really easy. You can plot the integers that are represented there and also any number in between them. We've shown you how to count units to the left and to the right, which is sort of a preview when we get to adding and subtracting negative and positive numbers is going to come in very helpful. And basically we've kind of been doing that here. We just haven't told you that, but you'll see this tool is going to be very powerful later. And we've also done some exercises here to get you comfortable with how to use a number line. So that concludes this section. I'm Jason. I hope you've learned something. Let's go on to the next section. We're going to baby step you through this course. You'll be very comfortable with all of the topics from here on out.